Hello, welcome back to Mandy's Not So Small Talk, and I am your host, Mandy. And hello, beautiful souls. I'm wondering, have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling even more disconnected? Like you were trying to feel heard, but somehow things just got worse. And so, in this episode, I want to talk about what's really happening under the surface of those moments and how your chakra system is involved every step of the way. But don't worry, this won't be an overly woo-woo chakra breakdown. My intention is to make this system practical, embodied, and relational, because your chakras aren't just lighting up when you're only on a yoga mat. They're actually active when you're texting your partner, getting triggered by a friend, or navigating a vulnerability with someone that you care about. So today, I'll give you a grounded overview of each chakra, what it governs, which age it develops in, and how it relates to real life relationships. A walkthrough of common conflict scenario, like a delayed text or miscommunication, and how it plays out when your chakras are in misalignment versus alignment, and practical tools to help you recognize what is happening inside of you in the moment and how to shift from reactivity to connection. So this is about energetic fluency, not spiritual performance. The more we understand how energy moves through us in real time, the more we can actually choose presence over protection, connection over control. All right, so let's begin. So the root chakra we're going to start with is the red chakra at the base, located at the base of your spine. It is about safety, presence, and nervous system regulation. And the age that it's developed at, that it comes online, is at between the ages of 0 and 7. So that's when it's taking on its root chakra programs mostly. And so the life areas that this affects is the family, our home, our finances, and our basic safety. So this are survival mechanisms. So this chakra, what it does is it keeps you anchored in your body. So a lot of us are not actually fully living in our bodies. We're in our heads and we're somewhere else. We're thinking about something else. So we're in another place or another time. And so we're not here and now anchored within our body fully. And so that's what the root chakra is about, being rooted here in your home being your body, your altar. So in communication, it governs whether you're present or in survival mode. And so misalignment looks like anxiety, abandonment, fear, or just checking out completely. So a practice for this chakra would be to press your feet into the ground. Actually, earthing. So like barefoot on the ground, on the earth, is really great for grounding, or hugging a tree, or being, getting something to ground yourself and bring yourself back into your body. So, but if you're just, doing normal life things, just feeling into your legs, your feet, and noticing them on the ground, stomping your feet perhaps, like to kind of like feel yourself strong on that ground, pressing your feet into the ground, and then ask yourself, like, am I here? Am I here? Or reacting from fear? Just like even asking yourself that can do a lot for you. So the next chakra that we're going to move up from, so that was the sacral, the red one. Then we're going to move up to the second one, which is the sacral. It's an orange chakra right about here, like where the womb would be, or sexual organs. Okay, so that age that's developed is 7 to 14 years old. And this one's going to govern sensuality and our creativity and our emotional connection. So this one is like, our emotional or relationships. It also is like, so creativity, like it's where, so like birthing, creativity, like when you're thinking of ideas, that's birthing ideas in the womb, in the dark space, in your head when you're being creative. It has to come from here, like the non-physical first before it is into the physical, right? So like into the womb, into the dark space, the womb, into the soil, right? The root. And then like that's where creativity takes place first before it becomes physical. It has to be created somewhere in the non-physical, that like the baby is created in the womb first. So that's why you can hear like a lot of correlations to that. That's why creation is first from the feminine energy, because the feminine is, so this is just a side note. So masculine energy is the doing, it is the penetration, it is the positive energy, like as in positive and negative ions, like energy, because the feminine is the negative, meaning like there's space for something to be, darkness, space to be created, a womb for something to be held. Whereas the masculine is the filling of that, right? The penetrating in that. Anyways, so this is sensual. This is where our sexual reproductive organs, our health, sexual health is. This chakra, it helps you feel, and misalignment shows up as emotional shutdown or emotional flooding or dependency. And in conversations, you might swing between like clinginess and withdrawal. So those are both ends of the spectrum of the same thing that's actually going on. Either an overactive or underactive sacral. So a practice in this chakra would be to place your hands on your lower belly, and you can breathe and you can think about orange and breathe into and direct your awareness down to that area. It's really just you don't have to, like, if you can't visually sense or see, orange or your chakras or whatever, it's the awareness, knowing, like thinking about, that's good enough. The awareness of that area, putting your hand on that area brings awareness to that area. Thinking, knowing of the color orange in that area, thinking of it spinning. And anyways, place your hand on your lower belly and breathe. And ask yourself, like, what am I feeling? What am I feeling without judgment? Like, no story, just like, what emotion is it that I'm truly feeling here? Is it fear? Is it excitement? Is it nervousness? Or what? And so on and so on. All right, so let's now move up to the third one, the solar plexus, which is just around the belly button, just above the belly button right here. Yellow. It's yellow in color. And so this one, it's related to our boundaries, our self-worth, and our action. It's the solar, it's the sun energy, the doing, the ego, the identity, right? A healthy ego is what we're shooting for. So the age that this one develops or comes online is at the ages of 14 and 21 years. And the life areas, like I said, is identity and confidence and willpower, right? So the personal power and feeling safe, knowing your personal power and feeling safe to use that personal power and using that personal power in a healthy, balanced way through, with a healthy sacral chakra of relationship dynamics, emotional dynamics. When we have healthy emotions, we have a healthy identity and will and action, right? So like it goes when we feel safe, safe, and we have a healthy with like we're healthy with our emotions. We can then put that into a healthy action with our healthy sense of self. So see how we're moving up. And this one says, okay, this is your I am center, where your power lives. And so misalignment of this shows up as defensiveness, people pleasing, control, or collapse. So like maybe your inability to act, or acting too much, doing too much, or not able to do anything. So like there's always like two ends of the spectrum of being unbalanced, right? That's where the law of duality comes in, which are, we'll touch on that in like another future episode. Okay, so a practice for this particular chakra would be to ask yourself, this might come like you want to go to your gut, like how does it feel in your gut? And so you want to practice asking, am I expressing a need, or am I just trying to win, right? So like when we're in a relationship dynamic, am I expressing like a true need of mine, or am I just really actually, or is this need an illusion need that is just really me wanting to win, All right, so let's move up to the heart chakra. The heart chakra is green, and it this one's focused on connection, compassion, and openness. All right, so the age that this one's developed at is from the ages of 21 to 28 years of age. And the life areas this takes place is love, empathy, and forgiveness. I forget which, where I heard, when I was studying yoga, this came up. And I can't remember what like spiritual scripture they referred to in particular, but where it is detailed that, and it is, I think actually in relation or reasoning to this particular chakra system, that we really are supposed to be developing before we step into a loving relationship up until 28 years. Like we really shouldn't be entering a loving, like reciprocal, like romantic relationship realistically until the ages of 28 years old, because up until then we're like still developing our characters, and then we're not actually online with our heart center, which is about giving and receiving. I just found that pretty interesting. So this is about your capacity to like stay soft even when it's hard, and we do know that life will present us with hard things, but we are able to do hard things. But we have to realize that it's through these trials and tribulations that we go through the hero's journey and we obtain the virtues and the wisdom, right? So misalignment shows up here as coldness, as codependency, or guardedness. And a practice for this, the heart chakra, would be to place your hands on your chest where your heart is. Think of the color green. Think of that color green expanding and spinning. And asking yourself, can I stay open here? Can I open even just 10% more? Especially like, because you can know once you start paying attention, you can start feeling your energy centers closing, right? Like you can feel sometimes if you are in awareness, you can feel when your heart starts to close. And so when you're able to recognize, oh, I feel my heart closing, that is amazing. So start tripping that wiring into not like feeling it close and then falling into that enclosure and going with it, instead of like noticing, I feel my heart closing here. That's signaling me that I need to do something so that I don't close it. And that's a protective mechanism to close that heart, but that actually feeds into the absolute opposite of what we're wanting. And just know, like, and that's why the lower chakras, right, having the healthy boundaries, expressing your needs, and that's why they come up first, right? Because if you are in healthy alignment with those, then there is no need to close that heart, right? And then when you are met with something that is making you close your heart, you then know that, okay, this is just, something that I need to work through and recognize and ask it to open and to integrate whatever has come up with for me, so that, maybe there's a need that you didn't ask for, or maybe there's a need that you did ask for and isn't being met. And so then what do you need to do? What action do you need to take from the solar plexus area that is going to keep you in your sovereignty to continue with your energy, with your heart open, right? All right, so now let's move up to the throat chakra. And this one is about expression and truth telling. So the age that this one's developed is 28 years to 35 years. And the life areas that this is our communication, our truth, our self-expression. So this chakra translates your inner world into words or expression of some sort. So sometimes like this is about, I'm talking particularly for this episode about communication, but also this one is about just like expressing yourself, and that could be through art, song, dance, music. And so that's what the throat chakra is about, expression and your ability to express it. So like where the solar plexus is the creativity before the expression, and then the throat chakra is about the actual expression of it. So this chakra, again, let's go back to, it translates your inner world and your ability to put that into words. So misalignment here would include silence, silence for manipulation purposes, really. Sarcasm, or over talking, or blaming others. So a practice here would be, this one is a light blue. To think of a light blue. And like you can feel moments, like when you're in moments, sometimes that's one thing that I notice. I can feel like I'll feel a lump in my throat when, in certain moments where I feel like, I'm not able to express how I truly am feeling because whatever, it's not appropriate work, or, you need to dissipate some of that energetic charge before you, express that onto another person. There's a healthy way, so if you feel that lump in your throat, is to like notice that feeling, notice what that feeling, and then like actually being with it and breathing into it. So it doesn't mean like, I have to close it down because I'm angry and I'm going to say, mean things, and it's maybe at an employee at work, and I know that isn't going to, in the moment of exploding, but like you want to, so like you can kind of, but you're not, because it's not the right thing to do. You might feel a lump in your throat, and the right thing wouldn't be like energetically, it's like fully expressing yourself, but you could kind of take some of the teachings in, but no, that isn't the right. It's about just actually like, okay, I'm feeling this anger. I'm noticing that a boundary has been crossed. Now I'm utilizing my solar plexus to act consciously. So I'm not acting unconsciously by exploding those, that anger out and saying terrible things. But I'm actually acting consciously and choosing to step away for a moment and then can feel maybe that lump in that throat, to be with yourself in that moment, noticing the feeling in your throat and breathing into that area and acknowledging that right now I really feel like I want to express myself, and what wants to come out instantly is not the right thing. But what is it what is the truth that I truly want to say? Because the first is the reaction, right? And that's not really truly what you want to say, is it? You don't truly, like when you're all calmed down after, that wasn't what you truly wanted to say. So so what is the actual truth? That's what the throat chakra wants, the aligned throat chakra wants to communicate, the actual truth, not the reactionary words. So anyways, feeling into that, and then working through what that actual truth is, and then being able to, in a calm state, voice that specific truth. And so like a practice here will be like also to relax your jaw, and then like when you're calmed down, to speak from the body and start with like, I feel like you don't value me when you do XYZ, and I'm not sure if this might, I imagine that the reason that you do this is because that, and it really makes me feel unappreciated, for example, like that would be, I feel, rather than you do this and you don't appreciate me, and those are attacks, and nobody feels good when they're actually being attacked. And when they're being attacked, they can't actually take in and receive what it is that is truly going on. So all right, so then the next one we want to go up to is the third eye, and this one is about perception and insight. So not outsight, not sight, but insight, internal sight, and projection. And so the age that this one is developed is 35 years and 42 years. 35 to 42 years old. And the life areas this affects is our intuition, our clarity, and our inner truth. So this is your pattern recognition center. And when this one is blocked, you project the past pain onto the present moment, or like you might assume the worst. So you're not actually seeing it for what it is. You've got like all these biases and like other stories that are actually filtered onto the actual event, and you're not actually seeing the event, right? So the practice for this third eye is, what story is for you to ask yourself, what story am I telling myself right now? So figure out first, what is the story? And be honest with yourself. Like, you may notice like, okay, that sounds out of whack, but like asking yourself and seeing that gives you clarity to be able to integrate integrate it, or maybe you do think it's true, but then that's when you sit with it and really reflect, is it true? So do I actually know this for sure? Or did I put little bits and pieces of my past and create a story from similar events? Which a lot of us do, right? Okay, so then we're going to move up to the crown chakra. And this one is handled surrender, trust, and meaning. And this age development is 42 years and up. So, it's actually a gift. Aging and being here is a gift. So we're not even fully online until we hit 42 and up. We haven't have all of our 7 main chakras online yet. So isn't that wonderful? Like, we're still developing and growing, even like at the most minute levels. So it's such a great gift to be able to age, to have wisdom. Anyways, so the life areas that this taps into is our faith, our spiritual connection, and our divine orchestration. So this chakra, it reminds you that you're not alone, and misalignment here brings hopelessness or the need to control. It's thinking that you are separate, that, oh, my life is worse than anyone else's, no one will ever understand me, or I'm better than other people. Like, it's like that separateness, not seeing that everybody is actually interconnected and we're all part of one, not knowing that there's something greater than our individual, what did I want to say? Our individual fraction. The actual word I wanted to use is lapsing me. Okay. But anyways, the practice here is to look up and breathe. Oh, the throat chakra is light blue. The third eye chakra is like a dark blue or an indigo. And the crown chakra is a violet or a white light. And so the practice here is to look up, to breathe. Think of that, have white light bathing you down. And then I just ask, what if this greater than myself is guiding me? Something that has my greater good in mind. What if I allow this to guide me? Okay, so let's get into a scenario. And this scenario is a bit about a delayed text misunderstanding. So let's say that you text someone that you're seeing and hours go by and there's no reply. All right, so you first say, like, this is your reaction, okay? This is a misaligned response. Hours have gone by, and now you're like stewed, steaming. All these stories have been created in your mind. And you message them, wow, ignoring me now? I guess I don't matter. Them, seriously, I was busy. Why do you always assume the worst? So let's look at what's happening in the chakras. So in the root, there's unsafe spiraling. In the sacral, there's flooded emotions or emotional numbing. In the solar plexus, there's power struggle begins. In the heart, they both close off. In the throat, there's blame, there's defensiveness, there's silence. In the third eye, there's projections. They don't care. Or they're just too needy, or they're trying to control me. Okay, and then the crown, there's hopelessness. Oh, this relationship is doomed. See, they're all alike. All right, so now let's go into an aligned response. So you say, instead, hey, I notice myself getting anxious when I didn't hear from you. So I know it's something that like I'm working on, but a quick check-in would help them. Thanks for saying that. I totally get it. I'll be more mindful moving forward. And they actually follow through with being more mindful, establishing that trust and feeling that trust going forward, and showing up and doing what they say they're going to do. All right, so the chakras here, we have the root, there was regulation, the sacral, there was honesty without overwhelm. They actually honestly identified, like, I know this is mine, this is what's coming up for me, and this is like what I would need to kind of help me. Like, it would help me. I know that this is mine, but it would help me work through that. And then the other person acknowledging and seeing the other and wanting to be able to, knowing that it's not anything on them. They haven't done anything wrong, but there is something that they can help to create a better container for that relationship and better safety so that they can both grow and develop more trust. All right. So the heart, there's openness. The throat, there's gentle communication. There's no attack. There's no blaming. In the third eye, there's seeing reality clearly. It's not just like automatically making a story. Oh, this person doesn't care about me kind of thing. Or this person is a stage 5 clinger because they're asking for normal contact. And then the crown would be like trusting in that process and trusting in that the relationship, like the dynamics are actually there to like feed a healthy relationship. All right, needs versus demands. Let's talk about that. So it's okay to actually have needs. In fact, it's essential. But there's a difference between expressing a need and demanding that a need be met. So a need expressed would be like, I feel safer when we actually communicate consistently. A need demanded, you better text me every day or I'm out. So one is actually vulnerable and the other is controlling. A lot of times, and it could be the other way. A person could think that someone who expressed, I feel safer when we communicate consistently, might see that person as being controlling when really all they're doing is expressing a need to, to be able to engage and feel safe in a relationship. It isn't over the top by any means at all. Or, if that if that person demands, you better text me every day or I'm out. Like that is controlling, and that is creating unsafety because of their unsafety. Whereas the first one is actually trying to create a container for the both of them. Okay, so true sovereignty is knowing your needs and letting others meet you willingly. So you're not trying to get them to meet your need through force or fear. You're knowing, hey, this is what I need. You're communicating that, and then you're allowing the other person to willingly, through their free will, to show up for you. And if that person doesn't want to, then that's also where you need to step back and have the sovereignty to be like, okay, well, I don't want to disrespect myself and what I need because another person doesn't want to give that to me. Then that means that this really isn't my person, right? There's a misalignment here. All right, so another thing I want to touch on is that the mess is the medicine. So sometimes we have to actually move, not sometimes, pretty much, most of the times, before we get to the unmess, we have to go through the mess. So we have to move through the messy, reactive versions of a moment before we know what the aligned one even looks like. So we can't get to that aligned, that great dynamic of a relationship without first moving through messy aspects of it, because you have to get intertwine and figure each other out, and like figure out where you both each have, misalignments in your own cells, and then your projections that you, and like using each other to be able to unwind that messiness. And so like there's that messy portion of it, and then you want to find a good partner that you're able to like start to eventually unwind that mess. And you need both that are willing to be there and have space for each other as you go through this mess together. So misalignment, it's not failure, it's actually feedback. And so in every relationship, we are both the teacher and the student. Each person in that relationship is both a teacher and a student. So the important thing is that both people are willing to participate, not win or dominate, but actually the goal is to connect and to choose healing over the ego, over just trying to protect, like personal fears, but actually wanting to move into those fears, like lean into that uncomfortable spaces through establishing safety through that uncomfortability, like to have safety in that conflict. Conflict is actually good because it allows you to find more peace, but it's how you handle and deal with that conflict where the gold is, and to be able to handle conflict in a healthy way. Avoiding conflict doesn't mean that there's no conflict. It actually just hides it, and it grows, and things you become more disconnected and more disconnected. So to become more connected, you have to find out where there is conflicts conflicts within your own energy systems that sometimes can't be seen without the mirroring of a relationship. So that's how the energy will shift, right? And that's how relationships evolve, because both of you need to want to participate and be curious, and continuously remind yourself that the goal is connection. The goal is connection. All right. So in closing, when we understand how our energy moves through us, we stop seeing relationship struggles as personal failures, and we start seeing them as invitations to grow. So let your chakras become your teachers. Let your triggers become your practice. And if this resonated, please like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone navigating relational healing. And let me know in the comments, which chakras do you most struggle to stay aligned in, especially in relationships? Or you can put a color of the emoji of that chakra below, or you can just give me a heart. Give me some energy. I'd so love it. Thank you so much. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to be present. So with much love, Mandy. And see me in the next video.